Hello and welcome to the 64th episode of Fur, Fins, and Feathers. Our guest and I am very honored to present today Linda Servin of Quincy, Massachusetts, who is well known throughout the terrier world, all dogdom, but especially terriers, for her great love of champion West Highland White Terriers. Linda, it's great to see you. I've known you, it seems, forever.
We have, yes. Long time.
More than 40 years.
Yes.
Welcome. I'm glad to see you again and everything. Tell us about your dog. And your kennel prefix is?
Elsinore,
Elsinore.
after Hamlet's Castle.
Very good. Tell us about your dog.
This is Busy. Busy is 5 years old. She is a Grand Champion Silver. She has won various specialties, sweepstakes. She was number 11, I guess, in Westies when I campaigned her 2 years ago. She had a litter of 1 last October. And we are getting ready to go out to some shows and just...
Did you keep her?
I did.
You good? Okay.
I did.
Very good. Tell us about the Westie.
The Westies they are terriers. They are loving, but they are willful. You have to have a certain temperament for a terrier. I mean, they are busy. In fact, her name is Busy. They do enjoy other people, but everything is on their terms. If you tell a Westie to say come, it's their instinct to go in another direction. Of course, I mean, they do want to please you, and we are doing very well with our Westies, many of them in obedience and in other facilities. I mean, I am purely involved with conformation.
Yes.
But we have had many successful Westies in obedience. I mean, it's the amount of training. But Westies are independent. I mean, they love you and they want to be with you, but they still want their own space.
A lot of grooming involved.
Hours of grooming for her, because she's in show coat. Everything on her hair is hand pulled. Her head is all hand pulled. The only thing I've used scissors on were the tips of her ears, and maybe a little bit around the base of the feet. But all of her legs, her coat, her head, everything is hand pulled, or I use some kind of a stripping knife or a tool. But nothing is scissored on her.
What is, a lot of people have probably asked, and I would like to know, what is the difference between a Westie and a Cairn Terrier?
Westies are a little heavier boned.
Okay.
Their coat color is different, of course. Cairns, you have them in a lighter tan, or they have like a brindle color. I have never owned a Cairn, but they are like Westies, are good family dogs, but they also are terriers.
They also require grooming.
They require grooming. Their coat is not as stylized as a Westie. Their tail has more of a feathering on the back of it. I think that Westies probably they weigh a little bit more because they're a little heavier boned. I mean, your Westie is as far as bone, between the Scottie and the Cairn.
Okay.
Because your Scottie is much heavier boned.
Yes, for sure.
But they should both, I mean, as Cairn should have substance, as does a Westie. I mean, they should have a nice broad head. I mean, some people have just gone back and forth between the two breeds. Personally, the Westies are my love, and that's what I've always had.
How did you, now, you've owned them for almost
1972.
1972. How did you discover the breed?
I was given a little stuffed animal of a Cairn, and I said, I wonder if it comes in white. And sure enough, I looked it up, and that's why I learned about a West Highland White Terrier.
You've shown in Canada
I've shown in Canada.
and in this country. Where else? Any other countries?
No, just these two. I used to go to Canada quite frequently. I haven't been up there in quite a long while.
Well, one of your Westies got a best in show up
One
there.
got a best in show. She was my first litter, and her litter mate was best of winners at Montgomery County, where we have our national specialty. And it started back with them.
Wow, that's many years ago.
Many years ago. That they were born in 1975.
Now you have a regional club,
We have a New England club.
a New England club. Are you a member of that club?
I am a member of that club. It hasn't been, I mean, because of COVID and so forth, things have been rather quiet for the past year and a half.
But they have a cohesive organization.
They do. They are not they opted not to be AKC recognized. It is a club for, more for pet people. It's where people gather with their dogs and
I think I judged that.
you judge one of the matches.
Yeah,
they
one of their
they
matches,
have
yes.
they have an annual match.
That was fun.
We haven't had that for, again, because of COVID. We didn't have it last year. We didn't have it this year. I have been I used to be more involved with the regional club, but I have really been more involved with the national club. I mean, I was president of the national club. I started their magazine. I think that was 1985. I started their their quarterly magazine, the Westie imprint.
How can people learn more about this breed?
Well, I think if they need to go to the parent club website, which is westieclubamerica.org. There is a lot of information on their website. They also have a list of breeders. People can call people on that list and talk to them about puppies and what it's like to live with a Westie.
What is it like to live with a Westie?
It's the best. It's the best. I mean, every time you come home, they act as if you've been gone for a 2-week vacation. Westies are fun. Westies, they have a great sense of humor. I mean, they love life. They love going for walks. They are great companions. But they are independent. I mean, you have to be able to deal with a terrier that thinks a lot of things are just funny. You know, things that
They have a good sense of humor.
they have a great sense of humor. Well, and I don't have anything else for you. They do need exercise. I mean, I walk my dogs a mile every day. If you can't walk them, they are happy running balls, chasing balls.
Okay.
They're good retrievers in that sense. They do bring the ball back, but sometimes they think it's funny that they just should run away with the ball and you should go chase them for it. I have rabbits that visit my backyard, and I am always afraid that when I let somebody out that they're going to go out and grab the rabbit. but I think that, I mean, it's my male dog. I think he's rather hesitant about catching a rabbit because he seems to make an arc. You know, if the rabbit's out there, he doesn't make a beeline. He makes an arc to make sure that the rabbit gets out before he gets to it.
What does their diet, talk about their diet?
My dogs are fed a high-grade kibble. They do get a supplement. They get a probiotic every day. They also get fish oil.
Are they good eaters?
They should be.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes you get a picky eater, but to me it's really important that you don't give into that, because if you give into a picky eater, you never know if the dog is well or not. Where if you have a dog that is healthy and eats its food, if the dog goes off its food, then you know you have a problem. You know that something's wrong. So that's why it's really important that you don't give in to them being finicky.
You've done a lot of writing in your career.
I have.
Have you done a book yet?
No, I'm not doing a book. No,
Not going to do a Westie book?
No, I'm not doing a Westie book. I mean, I've done a lot of editing. I have written articles. You know, it's something that I prefer to edit rather than just to write my own, because I've written so many papers and had to write so many things that it's just something that weighs on me, but I think I have to write something. Due dates and so forth.
Yeah, that can be overwhelming.
Well, it is, just because I think I've had to do so many in my lifetime that at this point, I have written for the Gazette, but it's again, you're on a deadline, and
I always enjoyed writing articles for the Gazette, especially on junior showmanship. Did a lot of that. That was fun.
Well, it's you have to have a message, you know, and
Have you judged or have you traveled to England to see Westies?
I have traveled to England, but it was not to see Westies. It was a family trip. We went to Ireland and England. I certainly, admire many of the dogs that have come over from England. Her grandfather came over from England.
So this is a breed of English origin.
Yes, it is. Actually, no, it's Scottish.
It's Scottish.
It's Scottish. It was originated by a Colonel Malcolm of Poltalloch. And he had a line of dogs that Westies were not always this white. And he would use them to hunt fox. And at one point, evidently, he shot one of his dogs, thinking it was a fox. And it was of a reddish color. And that's when he decided that he would only have white terriers. They were originally called Poltalloch Terriers. And that's from that we got the West Highland White Terrier.
Are they related to Sealies?
I really don't know, Brian. I know that the Scottish dogs go back to a similar ancestor, but I
similar
really,
perhaps is you better use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do go back to similar ancestors, but as far as being the same as a Sealy, no. Sealies actually, Westies have a different coat than Sealies. A Sealy, I think, is even a harder coat to trim to get it into the coat that you want than a Westie.
Okay.
And of course, I mean, their length, they're much different. They're much heavier than a Westie. Their length of back is much longer.
Look at that face.
She's cute. She's cute. She's my buddy.
And you've done some really nice winning with her.
Yep, she has done some very nice winning. She now has, I mean, her grand champion silver. She's won sweepstakes. When she was in the classes, she's winner's bitch at specialties. At our national specialty, she was the best female.
Nice.
So, and she loves her walks. I mean, it's one of the highlights of their days that she goes out and we go for a mile walk around the neighborhood. And
does she visit with some of the neighborhood children?
She
If
has.
they know her.
We don't have a whole lot of neighborhood children right now. You know, when we go for a walk, we're on a mission. You know, we don't just saunter. We are on it's to exercise, and I mean, she loves that. When she sees other dogs, she sometimes feels that they are on her territory.
What is their longevity?
She goes back in her pedigree twice to a bitch that I had, who was the top Westie in the country, top Westie bitch. And she lived over 17 years.
That's a wonderful track record.
Yeah, she lived 17 years. And her daughter lived to be 15 years, and that's her grandmother. I mean, her father is now, he's 10. She's 5. I hope she lives to be 30. But you hope that Westies are going to live 14 years, 15
So they
years.
have a good long
They should.
a longevity.
They should. You know, but they do need to be, they really are active dogs. And that's the one thing that people have to consider with them, that they need to get out and they do need exercise.
And they're versatile, too. They can do other things.
Oh, they do all kinds of things. I mean, Westies are, in fact, when she was younger, I took her to nose work. I mean, she loved it, absolutely loved it. It brought her out of her shell. I still prefer conformation, but they have, I mean, there's Westies are in obedience. I mean, Westies track. Westies do nose work. Westies do agility. In fact, I mean, one of her half sisters, I mean, was one of the top dogs in agility. And that's because of their training. I mean, the owner did the training with her.
But they are a versatile breed.
They sure can. They do all kinds of things. But Westies love having a job. They love having something to do. They want to be involved. I mean, they're good family dogs, but they want to be part of the family. I mean, it's not a dog that you just
you can't just leave them there.
You can't ignore a Westie. I mean, they let you know that they're available. I mean, they let you know that they're there. If you're not paying attention, you end up with I mean, I have 4 of them, and they're all around me. They all want to be up on the couch. They all want to watch TV. If we're eating, I mean, they know to sit there, but they're still waiting for crumbs.
Does she like her crumbs?
She loves her crumbs. Yep, she is very food motivated. I mean, she will show for food. She will, in fact, on our walks, we walk by a German Shepherd. She doesn't like the German Shepherd, because the German Shepherd will rush to the front of the fence, and she just pulls herself together and tells the German Shepherd what her opinion is. But the way I can distract her, if we're walking by, if I walk, I just keep giving her food, and she looks at me, we get by the German Shepherd, and she really doesn't bother with them.
Look at that face. You know that you are a very beautiful girl.
She is. She thinks she's special. She's a diva.
Look at that face. So what else can you tell us about this wonderful breed?
They are stubborn. But they still, they are very loving. I mean, I think I told you that I did teach 8th grade for many years, and I felt that it was just always that was the mentality that I was dealing with. I would go school all day long, and I would.
Did you ever bring them to school?
I did. I used to bring them to school.
And I bet the kids loved them.
They adored it. They loved it when the dogs. It got to the point that, I mean, eventually we couldn't bring the dogs to school, but I did bring quite a few of them through the years, and I mean, the dogs would just sit by my feet, and I mean, they go around to the kids. Kids would play with the dogs. There was one time I had a younger dog that she was going to be shown that weekend, and I brought her to school, and I had one of the kids bring her outside. It was pouring rain, and they walked the dog in the pouring rain, in the mud, and she came in from her sojourn with the kids, and she was dirty. She was all wet. But we brought her home and got her ready for her show. But they had a blast with her. I mean, I brought quite a few of them into school.
I can imagine.
So
it's a very, very affable, very fun breed.
They're fun.
Breed.
They're congenial. They love life, but they do demand your attention. It's not a dog that you can just go off and leave them home all day long. I mean, if they have a companion, I mean, like if you have more than one Westie, then they play together. But they do demand attention.
But they are a family dog.
They are a family dog.
How are they for like an older person?
They still would need exercise. I mean, I have people that have older people that have my Westies. They play ball with them in the house. But they do need to get out and they do need to be exercised. I mean, if you don't have a yard that they can run around in, they do need to get out.
So they're not good apartment dwellers. Maybe I'm.
Well, the thing of it is that they are protective in the sense that if they were to hear noises in an apartment, they would be noisy. They would bark.
Do they bark a lot?
I have had groups of dogs that like they're all really quiet, and then I have had like groups of dogs that are really noisy, and some of them don't find their voice until like they're 5 or 6. Well, she's found her voice about a year ago, and anybody that comes near the house, anybody that comes to the door, they tell you that someone's at the door. I mean, there's one perch that they like where they can look out and they can see things that are going on. They can see my neighbor's dogs across the street. And, I mean, I know when my neighbor puts her dogs out because they tell me. Nothing gets by them. I mean, they are very intelligent. They do want to please you, but it's on their terms.
Daily brushing.
It's best to do that. I mean, I do because she's in a show coat. I strip all of my Westies. I don't clipper them. I mean,
Okay.
they can be clippered.
Yeah.
And that way but you never get if you do clipper them, you do not get the hard coat. I mean, the hard coat repels dirt. It repels the rain. They are double coated, so it protects. It is much better for their skin. Some Westies can have some skin issues.
Okay.
I have found that if coats are stripped, it is better for them. It's healthier for them. I haven't had any skin issues. So all my Westies are stripped. Even my 10-year-old. When they get to be 12, then 13, then at that point, I mean, I might just use thinning shears or something. But until then, they're stripped.
And that's a laborious process.
Yes, it is. It takes a long time. It is, I mean, people are concerned, does it hurt them? No, it doesn't hurt them. I mean, they have their coat stripped since they are 8 weeks of age. And they get used to it. It's second nature to them.
And it doesn't hurt them.
It does not hurt them at all. Nope, I mean, everything is you know, I mean, I can pull this out and she doesn't even look at me.
So it's part of the process.
It is part of the process. I mean, puppies that their coats are pulled, and you periodically do it. I mean, I have dogs that I've sold to people, and every 6 weeks they come back to me, and their hands stripped. And they leave my house, and they look like they're little show dogs.
And she is a consummate show dog.
She's in great shape. Yeah, she's in good condition. She's in great muscle tone. But again, there's a lot of time put into her coat because I mean everything on her is pulled.
Everything is pulled.
I mean her leg furnishings, her side furnishings. I mean, of course, the head. I mean, dogs that come every 6 weeks, I don't pull the legs. I mean, I'll use thinning shears on the legs and like in under the neck and so forth. Where her, I mean, everything on her is pulled.
Will she be going to shows in the fall?
She's entered in some shows next weekend. Yeah, next week, Thursday through Saturday.
Very good.
But
well, I think they're telling me we're almost getting ready to wrap up. This was great. It was great to present the West Highland White Terrier to Linda Servin. It was great to have you again. And thank you for this beautiful, beautiful episode with Busy. What a lovely dog.
well, thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for having us. And thank you.